Okay, I think we're recording. Yep, we are. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the design class for flutterflow. So today, basically, what we're going to be learning is the basics of design. Because once you understand the basic fundamental of design, designing in Figma or designing in flutterflow or designing anywhere, you kind of understand how the design flows. Design is an art, you understand? So I can't tell you, or we can't teach you every art in designing. But once you understand the basic, you now know how to flow with your designs, right? And I can tell you that design is only divided into two sections. It's just two things. If you can understand these two things, basically, there's no design you cannot come up on flutterflow or anywhere else, right? And what are the basics? Let me take you straight to what design looks like. Now this is an Excel sheet. Design is like an Excel sheet. If you can open up whatever design you're looking at into grid format, you will see that everything is divided into rows and columns. Even artists, if they want to draw precise drawing, they like to draw on a row and column sheet so that everything is fixed. So the basic of design is understanding rows and columns. So what are rows and what are columns? I think that should be what you should have at the back of your head every time you want to start your design. Can you see what I just highlighted? Let me go to something else. Let me highlight a different color. Can you see what I just highlighted? It's flowing from left to right. Okay. Horizontal and vertical. So all your designs should always have this in mind. Okay, yes, perfect. Just have this image in mind all the time. So what is your rows? Your rows are horizontal lines and your columns are vertical lines. So let's go back to our Excel sheet. So what it means that from top to bottom is vertical, right? Let me go somewhere inside. Top to bottom is vertical, right? There's a reason why I'm dwelling on this thing. If you can get this concept, you will now be able to build whatever you want to build. So now let's understand how items in a row or a horizontal plane or a horizontal dimensions flows. Like I said earlier, let's go back to a row. This row now, where is it starting from? Left to right. It's flowing from left to right, right? So you can see everything inside here is stacked against each other. You see this box? This one will follow it. This one follows it. This one follows it. It just keeps following and going from left to right. It just keeps flowing. So that's how any item in a row flows. This is the flow of the river. It's just flowing from left to right. It keeps flowing directly, right? Understood? Okay, now let's look at a column. How does item in a column does? It drops down. It's like gravity. It's dropping from top to bottom. Right? Any item you can see in this column now is going from top to bottom. If you can understand the same principle, this principle will guide you in all your design. So now, if we're adding styles or want to move an element or make it flow in a specific direction, right? We now know that we need to put this element either in a row or a column. And there's no any other thing apart from these two processes. Okay, can we jump into flutterflow and see how this works? Yeah? Okay, let's go to flutterflow. So ordering, right? This is the app we've been dealing with like for ages. Let's see. Let's look at our pages. This page has been empty all this while. Home page. Let's just create a blank page and just call it row and code. Right? Okay, on this page now, we already have a column on this page. So anytime we have a column on this page, what does column do? Stacks everything like gravity, top to bottom is falling down, right? Okay. You can see that this app bar is at the top. This text is inside this app bar, right? So if I drop down, I see this text. Anything I add will always flow from top to bottom. I can delete this. Let's delete this app bar so that you don't get confused. We have a column. We can even delete the column and add it. Let you see that we have a column. So I want to add a widget to this column. Let's say I want to add a text. A text, right? Can you see where the text is? I'm inside that column. The text has been added inside the column. Let me add another element to this. Let's say an image. Can you see the image came below? Everything is flowing from top to bottom. It just keeps flowing from top to bottom. Let's add something else to this column. What should we add? A button? Yeah, let's add a button. You ask yourself, why did the button come under the image? Why didn't it go somewhere else? Because it's in the column. Everything is flowing from top to bottom. Okay. Now in this column, you can see everything is inside this column, right? You can see the width I just highlighted. You can see the width and the height of the column, which I can adjust based on the properties that we have here. Now I can align, I can now do trickish stuff, which I don't think we should do that yet. Let's get to that part, then we do it. Okay, let me just leave that. Okay, let's see if we can let's go straight to rows and let's understand what the row will do. Then we'll come and start manipulating whatever I want to manipulate. Let's see in this column if we can add a row. Now that we're adding a row, where would the row appear? Can anyone help?
It's appear under the button.
Okay.
You have to specify
I have to, don't worry, let's just do something simple. I'm just taking that off. There are other tricks that I'm going to show you after this. Let's just use the row now. We've done column. We saw how column works, right? Yeah. So now we'll be manipulating rows and column together in the next phase. That's why I deleted the column. Let me take you step by step. Okay? Now we're in row. How will items in a row behave? Okay, let's do the same thing we did the last time. Let's add a text. Then we add what? An image. Yeah, you'll be wondering, why is it now going like this? Then we can even add our button. Do you see? Everything in a row is flowing left, and everything in the column is coming from top to bottom. I can tell you now, if you understand this basic, that you are already a designer. So now let's put all these two ideas to work. Okay? Let's design, what should we design? Let's design a page that has a lot of work within, between columns, rows, and let's design an inside of our blog. We need a mobile app blog page. Should I add mobile? Okay. Boom, 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 boom. I think this is nice enough for us, right? Let's use this. How can we enlarge it? Okay. So we'll be designing this which should we do? This first one or the second one or this one? The center one, this one, or this other one? Just pick one. The center one, right? Okay. Can you take a look at the design and understand the way things are flowing? You can see that everything is flowing from top to bottom. That is our first initial column we started. Thank you. Okay. Now, there are various columns and various rows inside this design alone. For you to figure out which is a column, which you should use a row, determine how good of a designer you are. So you see in this class, sometimes we'll make mistake, we'll reverse, we'll come back, we'll make sure we get it right. etc, etc, etc. Let's dive in. Okay, the first thing, we know that design in our head now. I wish it was maybe Figma. We'll be picking colors and everything and be doing it step by step. But now, this column now is our bread column. Let's say the background of our work. Everything should flow inside, top to bottom, okay? So this is like our master background. We can, should we do that now? But let's just go ahead and start work. Okay. The first thing we need now is that we have on the top, we have the name. Let's go back, let you see it. We have an image of the person. We have the name, the last scene, and an icon, a bell icon, right? Then underneath this section, we have a search bar. Okay? So now what do we do now? We have two sections we want to create. And these two sections now are stacked one under the other. So what are we going to add? Can you tell me now? In this column now, we want to add something. What are we going to add? We're going to add a row, right? For the first one. Then also we're going to add again another row. Okay. Inside the first row, how is the item flowing? They are flowing left. So now we can now build all our items inside this row because it's just flowing that direction. Okay? So now inside this row, we can now add a container because now let's go. It seems you missed something. Let's go back to that. Inside this row, right, we have three sections. 1, 2, 3. So we want each of these so that we can deal with these three sections. What are we going to add inside that row to give us these three sections?
We'll add the normal containers. We will add picture. There will be a column inside the row.
Okay, we can do it. That's why I want you to use your design ethics to design it. You can just go ahead and start adding all the content. It will flow in that direction. Let's do that. Let you see. Then we'll see why that is also a bad practice. Image, right? The first thing is image, right? We can now just even adjust our image to any size we want and start adding our padding and border radius. Border radius, we just need to increase it to give us that round feel. Okay, reduce the size more. Something like this. You see, because we're in a row, all items flows. You understand? We can now add text. You can see the way the text is already aligning. Then this text, there's something under the text. You see where you're now having issues. Yes, correct. So you can see where you're now having issues already. Then after this text, we need, so what he's saying now is that we're not going to add the text, we're going to add a column, right?
Yeah.
We're going to add a column inside this row. You see where the issue is now. Can you see where your issue is coming from? Then inside this column, we'll add what? Text 1 and text 2. Yeah? Then outside this column now, in the row, what's the last thing? Is also an image, an icon or an image, yeah? Let's do an image. Then we adjust this to suit whatever we want it to look like. Okay? With the width. Yes. So now can you guys see the issue you're having already? So you have to manually padding, manually merging. You can see it didn't flow accurately. Do you have an idea on how to solve this issue?
Initially, we'll add 3 separate columns in the rows with these values in them.
Then we design them. So now let's just, do you guys understand? Because this is not a responsive design. When we start padding like this picture now, we put a padding, we can even do it from anywhere now. We can say 30. When orientation of screen start changing, this will always not, it will start having issues. Yeah. So our work has to follow a proper structure all the time. So every item needs to be inside a column or a row. These items are in a row, but the row is like the body holding all of them. Each item needs to have its own row or columns. Then you divide them into subsections like that. That is when you have now understood the flow of design. Let's see if we can do a proper one correctly now. We'll just wipe out all this we've done. We'll delete it. Let's just delete this. So we now know that anything we put inside a row will flow from left to right. So even if we put a column inside of this row now, all the column will flow from left to right. So since we have 3 sections, we're going to add 3 columns inside this row. Can you see how the columns are flowing from left to right? Why are the columns flowing from left to right? Because they are inside a row. So now inside each of these columns now, we can now start adding our design, our images. We can say 30 pixel by 30 pixel. Give it the sweet border radius that we want. That's all. In this other column now, I think we did this one, we got it correctly. We add the 2 texts. This text, we can now go ahead and make it bolder if it was what it was there. What did they write in the text? Whatever, William J. Breeder, something like that. We can increase our font size to 21. You know, this menu is always your property menu, and you can make your work flow as you like, right? We can do the same thing with the one below. So now, okay, let's just give it a blah 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 blah. Hello world. Blah 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 blah. Okay. So now, if anything we want to do, you can see the way our work is centralized while in a column. So now if I want to style these 2 elements inside this column now, I can now easily make changes to these elements from the column. Okay, I don't know if you guys are following. Do you see the way I aligned the whole item inside the column? Align them to the left, align them to the right. If I want to give a padding now, I give padding to my column. You see how it's flowing now? All the elements are flowing accurately. Yeah. Okay, so now let's do the last thing that we need to do. I think we can just copy this image here. Right? And look for a part, or make it, or change it to an icon and put that icon there. Float the padding of the whole column also, right to the right. Then give it a padding of, let's say, 20. Ew. Did I delete this? Okay, are we kind of seeing what we're looking for?
Well, yes, we are going to. You have to work on the goal.
Yes, now we have to work. Yes. So, okay, what do we want? We want to centralize all this. We can just come to this row and centralize all our items. So if everything is stacked and arranged properly, you find out that your designing is swift, sweet, and easy. And if your work is being adjusted, it will always follow the design of your rows and columns, right? Right? So below this row now, there's a second row. We can give it a top padding of, let's say, 10. Let it just drop down a bit. And in this row we have what? We have a text area, right? Should we make the same mistake we made the first time? Okay, good. So what do? We add 2 columns, right? Now in the first column, what are we going to add in that column? We can add the text area. So we can even go further and put that text area in a row, then so that we can manipulate that row to manipulate the text area, or we can just add it together. Do you see that what we're doing, we're just following a flow? We're just following the flow of the design we saw. Then we can add a text here. Text field. Oh shit, what's it? The most recent action could cause a crash or error. Would like you undone. What did I do? A text box, not a text area. Where am I? Where's our text box? Text field. Where is it? Same thing. Sorry. Text field. Okay, you can see it's added, right? Then in the next one we can now add our icon, and the icon should be what? Search. Is it filter or search? Search, right? I mean, this is not the icon we saw there. Okay, filter, right? So where is it here? We can pick anyone, right?
Yeah.
How would they know it's filter? This makes more sense. So we can also do the same thing by just aligning this our work to the center. We can give this a padding, a margin. You can give it a margin, right? Where is increase the height, increase the width, whatever you want to do, you can do. But basically, this just covers. We have just started the design. So if it was this design was in Flutter, was in Figma. Remember that in Figma we can now start downloading all those icons.
Yes.
The background color will get it exact.
Yes.
We don't even know the font that they used in this project.
Yes.
So the Figma will give us the font, so we can now use the font. Let's say, for example, we want to change the font of this whole project, because on Figma we're going to know the fonts. You can see you can go to settings, right? You can go to the typography. There's the primary font and the secondary font. You can just easily change it from here. Select the font. It has almost all the whole fonts. You can import your custom font also. Let's do Open Sans, so that your work will be looking exactly, you can see everything as the font has changed, so that your work will look exactly like what was designed. It should be uniform. Do you understand the flow already? So can you design your own ideas just from this flow?
Yes.
Let's add something else. So we have two rows that are holding two sections. Okay, let's add another row into this column. Row, and this row should just want to add an image, and want the image to take the image to cover up the whole screen. Why is it not covering the whole screen? If we change orientation, will this not distort? Oh, okay. Yes, it won't distort. This is where we do the magic. We box fit the image to the way we want it to be displayed. If we change the image to be displayed without the full screen, this is what it will display. Now this is the image we are applying our adjustment to. It's a bit tricky, sometimes you get to miss it, but like I said, just come back and do it. We fit, because this image is fitted into a column, so it can't span beyond the column. So now the property we're adding to the image now is to enable the image show different fitting of that image, or how do we want to display it. Understood? I think that solves our issue. Then if we're going to add something below again, what do we need to add? We'll add another row. Pad it, put an image. Okay, let's just do it. So let's just add a row. We give our row at least a padding of 10, and in this row we need, let's say, 2 columns. 1, 2. In the first column we want to add an image, and this image we want it to be very small. We can do our adjustment here. We can say 30 by 30, right? This will be the user that posted the picture. Okay, then this column we give it like a 10 padding from the right. Then in this other column we want to add what? The text, and this will be like a what? This will be the title of the post, so it's going to be bold, Where is our font size? Extra bold. Give it like a 20. Font size of 20. And whatever I want to put here should just be there. In this same column, should we add supporting text or date and time?
That you can use that.
We can do that also. So in this column, since column starts from top to bottom, this will just start below it. Then we put in our date and time. 1 hour ago, something like that, right? In this whole column now, we can now align our text to fit, and I think that's that for that, right? Is there any other thing we need to add here? You can see the design is coming out because we're just following our rows, column properties. We can also do we can add colors, background images to the whole work to make it look the way, any way we want it to look. Should we do that? Nope, that will make it look weird. I don't have a very nice, if we have a very nice design, we can now go ahead and do that. But let's just say for this tutorial sake, this is our main dashboard. This whole concept, this top from this place below, let's put here as such. Sorry, let's just do this because this is what we'll be using in our blog class. Okay, from the search, where is the column of the search? The row. Yes, from this second row down to all these other rows, they are all going to be what these two rows are going to be in a list view, so that when we're picking it from the database, it just replicates and keep going down, right? Then this whole container, we're going to make it scrollable, so that you can come here and pick any of the design you like and use to create that page. Gives you a head start. The designs here are not bad, they are pretty good. Look at this graph. If you want to do a page with graph, you can just pick this, delete the rest, add your design and move forward. Okay, so you should be ready to be fluid, and basically what matters most is it a functional application. So now I wanted to use this theme, so let me just give you my idea. I have I'm building like a portfolio management application, but I want to be able to see at a glance what each of these my portfolio, what are they doing, how are they making, what income are they making. So let me give you an idea of how I categorize. This is a personal app and I'm using this design. So I want to give you guys an idea that a design can go for different projects. You just have to see, is it going to work for me? So now I'm looking at what do I call portfolio for me now. Like for example, working here, I get an income right at the end of the month. That's a portfolio for me. It's an added asset to me. Maybe I have like 2 bikes that are running around for me. That's an added asset. By the end of the month, I want to know what they are making, the revenue. Then I have like maybe 6, 4, 5, 7, 10. Maybe I have you guys working as my developers. They are paying you guys, they are giving me commission, right? You guys now be collections of developers, right? I'll put it in there. How much is it making for me every month? So now this, you see, this is like a profile dashboard. So now I'll use this design instead of customers. Now change here to the names of the business, maybe IntelliWorks, developers, bikes. I'll just have only this top. I can just be scrolling. So at the end of every month, I know how much I'm making in this anyone that is not performing well, I can easily just see and say, okay, I need to delete this business, and from here I'll delete it. So what I'm designing is that I can see the business, I can click on each of the business, see a list of if they have other income, how this money sums up. Then I can start adding, have a button to be adding the income also from the business. Then from there also, I'm adding the income, I'm adding cost, sales price, what is it costing me? Like for this office, I can say, what is it costing me to come every day? Do my full calculation, then add stress to it. Then I know how much I'm making in profit, right? So it displays me the revenue. I've added another button here that displays me profit. So you can work with multiple designs. Just figure out what you are doing, and most of this template works. Most of them works. Like for if you're working abroad, basically you're working for some of these white guys. These are the kind of templates they like. White. It's Africans that like color. And you see Google, you see the way their designs are simple. If you're a UI designer in Google, you'll just be chilling. There's nothing to do. You just put 1, 2, 3.
Everywhere.
Yes.
Someone that his work is just to arrange that white space.
That's all.
Your own is just to do or iconography.
Exactly. So it's easier to work abroad, and it's very difficult to work in Nigeria because they'll say what kind of design is this? What kind of design is this? So there's a lot. You see, I've been scrolling, we've not even exhausted. There's a lot of design. I can now say, okay, this page, I like this page. I want this page to be my blog details page. They've already brought the image, they brought the title. I just change here to my text box, then add my comment. That's all. So you don't need to be going from scratch to scratch. This is also part of the design class. Take a look at this blog view page. You see they've already done the comment etc for me. I can just pick this, it looks good. Change the color, change the fonts, make it nicer, Then all I need to do is, then here is your time app that you say you want to do. When you click it works. When you click it. Everything has been done for you. Just pick this and go and put in your actions. So that's why you see I was very specific on those actions. There's a lot of designs. You can take your time, scroll and look at nice ones for what you want to develop. Okay? A lot of pre-made designs. If you don't see what you want here, then you can go to the marketplace, which I just showed you, and get nice designs for your work. So now, designing your dashboard or whatever you want to do should not be a problem. Right? And come here, just have an idea of what you want to do. Look for a template that works. Then start from there. Then continue the design from there. Delete, then add yours. Since you now understand how the rows and the columns work, you should be able to adjust your design as it goes. Okay. Is there anything I'm missing out in this basic design class? This design class, take it to the bank. You will never withdraw. Like it works. We can now even use this as our blog dashboard. All I need, this might be categories, then I'll change this to my search. You see, they've done everything. To my title, this whole part I'll just delete it. I might just delete this and leave this rating. So in my work now, in my database, I'll add ratings so that when people rate, they can see the number of rating, and this will be a counter from the database. I can just add it through an action for my backend query. I just put how many counts, it shows there. This star will always be there. Simple. You see how we're working with other people's work. You can work with all these login as you like. See sweet login page, see login page. Okay, I think that's all. Is there anyone